What's going on, everybody? Wilson here, your spiritual hype man. So happy to be back, and I'm happy you guys are tuning in. Today we have episode number 2 with our homie Raf. If you have not heard the first episode, I would say definitely go check that one out first before you play this one. And so, for a quick recap, Raf is changing lives right now by helping people get motivated and help personal training. Right? That's ultimately what it is, personal training.
Yeah, we do personal training. We do large group, like boot camp style classes, and
Yeah.
then like smaller group strength classes, where we do some more heavy lifting kind of stuff as opposed to the like run and gun craziness of boot camps.
Yeah, fantastic. So like between you and everybody that is doing that with you, that they're making positive changes, right? They're motivating people to make this positive
Yes,
change within their environment, their body, and obviously, one of the things that we always say, look, if you're not feeling happy, it's the thoughts in our head. We need to either figure out how to change those thoughts, prompt us to think something else, and or do something physical.
100%,
Right? That's the
100%.
biohack. I feel like the biohack is like if those two other things aren't working for you and you still are working and developing like your ability to shut these thoughts off on your own, the best thing is to biohack and go outside, do something physical, do some push-ups, do some sit-ups, do some running, because the body just naturally feels better afterwards, correct?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I mean, it's kind of like what we were talking about before that the like running was the thing that kind of like allowed me to find solace while I was locked up because it gave me the space to like think and breathe and get away from the
Exactly.
chaos because like that's the one thing I'll say that like the place is prison. You are cut off from family and friends and stuff, but you learn to adapt. You know what I mean? You can, whether you do it the right way or the wrong way, you can
Yeah.
find comfort somehow, some way. But there's you have a choice and you have to find where to channel your energy. And so like physical fitness gives you that outlet. You know, it gives you the space to be able to think and to find a way to move, and then you can start like exercising that and letting it grow into everything else in every other area of your life, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, I think physical I would say, I don't want to say it's the easiest way, but it's definitely easier than the mental, like trying to work things out by yourself mentally.
I
Like
feel like it can act as a gateway, you
yeah,
know.
it's like the perfect gateway. Because like if it just becomes part of your routine, like even like we were talking about the first episode, like no matter what, there was a moment that you had to go work out. Like I felt the same way.
100%.
Like if I didn't go work out, it didn't matter. 2 o'clock in the morning after a restaurant shift, because I used to work in the restaurant business too. Like
Yeah,
I would go to the gym and be like, all right, I got to
yeah,
get my workout in.
got to
Um,
be done.
and so for those, for the and I do it too. Like sometimes, like look, we all have. I feel like we're all trying to obtain the same thing, right? Like we just want to be loved, we want to be included, we want to feel good, we want to have enough money to take care of family, friends, and then have enough free time to like do shit, right?
Amen.
And so like
100%.
I feel like for everybody, like whatever that means is a little bit different in terms of like the goals that we achieve. But at the same time, like if you boil everything down, really it comes down to the same emotion, right? Are we feeling upset? Are we happy? Are we angry? Are we surprised? Like there's only a few emotions that like all humans can kind of go through that is relatable to
No doubt.
everybody else. So I think it's a great thing in terms of what you guys are doing with like the physical aspect and training and helping
Yeah.
people move forward. And so just keeping the conversation on, like I'm gonna give a recap. Like you obviously were incarcerated for 13 years. You're supposed to serve 15 years, which is it's
Correct.
still a long time. 13 years, very still a long time. Um,
Yeah.
so initially, obviously, the influence of the time and the era of party, drugs, and things like that had it really was an influence in your life that kind of led you into this direction that led to that situation and outcome. And then from there, you found you found some people that were helpful influences that kind of like made things gave you really a good perspective to really start questioning like, hey, where am I going? And then there were moments that you actually made that decision. You had mentioned something in last episode too, where you had like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. One
Yeah.
one thing I think when it comes down to change, there's three different phases of change is sort of how I've broken it down. One, you don't know you need to change, like you're unconscious of it. Two,
Right.
all of a sudden you start waking up or you don't like this feeling and you're like, what the fuck am I doing? Okay, something needs to change. And so you're conscious of it and you
Okay.
start making these decisions. But then the third level is you've completely changed the behavior or the thing that you were doing. But I feel like between 2 and 3, there's always that back and forth, back and forth. Um, I think the goal is to extend the time that you get your little tweak and go back to like not the thing that you're not supposed to be doing, right?
Yeah.
I think if you were able to look at it and like kind of give yourself your own report, and you're like, okay, I know I'm not supposed to go crazy and yell. That was my thing. Like I'd just go fucking nuts. Like I'd have this, you know, and I'm like, I know
Hmm.
this is where I shouldn't go crazy and yell because these are the things that then lead to X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
And then it would happen, and I'm like, fuck, and I would feel like shit, and I'd be like, okay, let me do this again. Situation happens again, it's cyclical. And then I'd be like, okay, I know this is the moment I shouldn't, and then I don't, and then it takes me longer before I like revert. So I feel like if you can as long as like start delaying that reciprocal or that thing that gets you doing the thing you're not supposed to be doing, then you're on the
Sure.
right track.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
For sure. I mean, it's just like fitness. So like it, the longer or the more discipline you can hold out, on the delayed gratification,
Yeah.
the better your chances of sticking to the habits. It's like how many days does it really take to stick a habit? Like some people say it's 3 weeks, some people say it's 3 months. Who knows? But I know that the longer I can keep myself checking the boxes, going to the gym, doing the exercise, whatever it is, if it's a diet thing, keeping away from the Twinkies and ding dongs and
Yeah.
hoes and whatever, the better chance I have of making that transformation. And the same thing happened in there. It was like at some point, like what they always say, like I did NA and AA when I first, a long time ago. And so they always say, like, if you hang out in the barbershop long enough, you're going to get a haircut. So you have to change the environment and get away from those sources. And so that's what I had to do. Like getting a job in the school was my other option was hanging on because if you either have a job or you're on the rec yard all day. So if you're on the rec
Wow.
yard all day, drinking, smoking, partying, fighting, whatever, that's what's happening. Some people are working out, but that's an island in the middle where the dip
Yeah.
and pull up bars are, and then maybe
Yeah.
running the track. But the majority of the 2,000 to 5,000 people that you're with are getting high, getting drunk, partying, playing dominoes, yelling, screaming, fighting, whatever.
Yeah.
So you have to start changing the environment. So it became like I had to make like space by going away from that. And every morning you go up top, to the admin area where whether you're working in the school, in the church, in the library, uh, in the cafeteria, but that's a whole nother mess. Whatever the case may be, whatever that job is, it's taking you out of the environment, right?
Yeah.
So allowing yourself to have that space, and that's what I had to do. So keeping myself busy, and it got to the point where I was like, I know that I need to be off. I need to work out, so I need to carve out that time. So like I got a job in the chapel after because I hadn't had a job in probably like 2 years. So I would go out in the morning and run and do like abs. I would go out in the afternoon and lift weights. And then I'd go out in the evening and walk and do more abs. And so I was like, man, this is not good. I'm out here all day. Even if I'm not necessarily doing anything wrong, I'm in the environment.
Yeah.
And so like I got a job in the chapel and like I wasn't thrilled at first because that was the only job they allowed me to kind of get. That's like they were like, all right, well, this is where we're going to put you. And I was like, man, in prison, it's like the haven, safe haven for all the scary people that
Right.
I don't want to be there. So like, I was like, I don't want to be there. That sucks. But again, he works in mysterious ways, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And so like, that's where I actually met the last guy that helped me to get out of like the whole life. Like
Oh,
he's the guy who really changed me and like got me reading the scriptures and got me like making the better decisions. And I actually,
influence. Yeah.
yeah. And so I got to train him. He was like a buck 20. We were opposites. He's like 5'3", a buck 25. I'm like 6'5", 220, 230 pounds. And I was like, all right, you want to gain weight? I want to get shredded. We'll make it happen. And
Nice.
so we worked it out. But changing the environment slowly but surely. So I got the job there. I talked to the chaplain after like 3 weeks. I was like, you got to let me get back outside. And so we worked out a schedule where I could disappear. I could get there at like 5 in the morning, make sure everything was done, haul butt, go to the rec yard, get my workout. If you had a job, you could actually take a bath. So now I could take a shower at like whatever time I got done with my workout and then go to work for the rest of the day. So I was out of the environment, doing things to help. And I got to do some really cool stuff because like that particular place allowed us to move a bit. So I figured out a way to like fund ministries through the prisoners. And so I would find the guys who had money, whether it was legal or illegal, and I'd be like, hey, listen, we have this church that's coming in. They need funding to be able to do this fellowship, but they want to come and break bread with the inmates. And I was like, we want to invite 100 people. This is how much it's going to cost. If you want to contribute to that, I will get you, you can come to the fellowship, eat all day, but you can also bring a friend and you can have like 3 or 4 meals in the fridge at the chapel so that you can come eat some real good street food for, the next week or so. And so I would get like, two, 3,000, $4,000 for these churches. I'd be like, listen, you guys bring the food. The rest of the money is for your church. I don't care what you do with it. As
Oh,
long as you come, break bread with us. And so we were doing that. And it was just super cool to be even at that stage. Like I used to get mad because I'd be like, oh, these guys are only here for the food. And then I was like, man, but the food, they might hear the nugget that
yeah.
allows them to make the
Yeah. They
change.
might have
So
been working. That's cool.
it took me a while to get to that. And then, but it worked, and I did that for a minute. Um, but it was that shift, of getting out of the environment that really, really allowed me to make the change, like you were saying.
Yeah. Get you further away from the shit.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, that's crazy. All right. So you met the wife, so you got and you were able to get out. So you
Yeah.
restaurant.
Yeah.
So,
Started
so
up
were you already out,
washing
or you
dishes.
were sort of on your way out when you met wifey?
So I was working at the restaurant as a dishwasher, and she was the bartender, and she was dating one of the other guys, and blah blah blah. Long story short,
Yeah,
they
restaurant
broke up.
life.
Yeah, they broke up, and I was like, man. So I started talking to her, but like, I'm in prison, so I'm like, what do I have to offer? But I mean, she didn't know anything about me, so like, definitely a trooper. She's probably my anchor
Mm.
in life now because for her to take that chance, like imagine
Yeah.
I'm 39 years old. She's like 25 or 24 at the time. It's
Mm.
like guy that's in prison, still wearing the anklet, going back to prison every night. And she just didn't even like flinch. Like I asked her for her phone number one day and we talked until like 6 in the morning. I had to get up at like 6:30. And so we're doing this. And so we got to become friends, but
Yeah.
like friends, because for 9 months, all we could do was talk on the phone.
Yeah.
And like we would see each other at work, obviously, and you might sneak off in the corner and get a kiss or whatever. But like
Yeah.
basically, we got to just be friends and get to know everything about each other, like likes, dislikes, things we would do, wouldn't do, like what are my dreams, my passions. And by that time, she like got to meet my family a little bit because she would be able to take me home once a week. So I would go to her house one week and then my house another week, her house one week, my
Wow.
house another week, and so that kind of allowed us to like have this really cool relationship. And I got out in December, and then in like September, I asked her to marry me. At that point, we were both working in restaurants. We had moved from Tarpon to Tampa.
Mm.
I had a condo here in Tampa, so we moved back to my condo here in Tampa, and we were both working at Chili's. And she ended up moving to Maggiano's. But anyway, we were working in the restaurants, and I took this job at another like Senor Tequila's, like this Mexican chain, and supposed to be the GM and all this. And as I looked at the owner one day, and I was like, bro, I would be doing you a disservice. You're like spending a lot of money on this new build out, and I'm just going to take over this restaurant for you. I was like, I love the opportunity, but it's not my heart. I was like, it's fun, and I'm making a ton of money,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like the same life I was living before. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm seeing with my eyes what everyone's actually doing,
Yeah.
even though they're saying they're not. I'm like, all right, I know this job. And
Right.
so I was like, I have to go, bro. I was like, I don't mind serving for you. I was like, but I can't be your manager. And because his family, super cool guy. We're still friends, and they really only speak Spanish. And
Okay.
so like having someone, me, that's bilingual and can like, they opened in West Chase, which is they're actually across the street from my gym now. And
Oh,
that was the
that's
restaurant
funny.
I was supposed to take over.
That's
So
funny.
he was like, oh, you'd be the perfect fit here because it's a very upscale area. He's like,
Yeah.
you could be, whatever. And I was just like, man. And he like wrote me a check to like, hey, stay on. And I was like, I can't, bro. I can't do it. And so I walked away and I was like, I got to pursue my dream. And I said while I was in prison, I'm going to open my gym. I'm going to open my gym. Crap. I'm going to open my gym.
Yeah.
And so I walked away from it, and it was like good salary, everything. And we walked into this, me and my brother, he's a trainer too. We walked into a gym and we're working out there for a while. And we went to tell the owner we were canceling our memberships because we were going to go apply at a gym that was hiring down the road. And he was like, wait a minute, you guys speak Spanish? And we're like, yeah, of course. He goes, I need you guys here. It's a very Latin area
Yeah.
where that gym is. It's a Gold's Gym. And he was like, my brother actually said, he goes, what if he comes down and tells us he'll hire us instead? And I was like, no freaking way, bro. And literally the owner comes down the steps and he's like, you're not going anywhere. I'm hiring you today. When can you start? And we were like, oh my God. So I had been working out at that gym when I was a kid. So like that was like home base,
Yeah.
fitness wise. It's the same gym that I worked out at in the 90s. It's bananas.
Oh,
And
wow.
so we ended up, both of us got hired that day on the spot. I started working as a trainer. Probably was a trainer there for maybe 7 months, 6, 7 months, maybe 8 months. And the owner was like, "Hey, I got an idea. I want you to do something, but I got to see if you're willing to do it. Like it's the challenge, And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm always willing to bet on myself. It's about hard work. Let's go run it. And so he's like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm going to take you off the floor, or I'm going to put you in sales. I know you don't want to do that. He goes, but I'm betting that you're going to be really good at it, whatever. So I was like, all right, let's do it. So that was like November by this point, and I excelled for whatever reason. I just kind of like used the same tools I learned in prison to
Right.
just be for cool with everybody, and it worked. And so like a few months later, he offered me like he took me to the owners convention in Vegas, and I was going to buy the Gold's Gym, and all these
Oh,
things
that's cool.
happened. And I got this DM on Instagram, and it's this like fitness company, Camp Gladiator, and they're like, "Hey, we feel like you'd be a really good fit for our Tampa team. Would you be willing to check it out?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm about to retire, buy this gym." I had told my wife she could quit school, like all the things. And we were getting married in a couple months, so I was like, "No freaking way!" And they just kept on pushing, pushing, pushing. And one day they were like, "Well, would you come to a workout?" And I was like, "Of course, I can do that. I love working out." When you got,
Yeah.
I went to a workout on Monday morning at 9:30 in the morning. At 11:30, I went back to the gym to tell my co-GM, because by that time I was co-GM at Golds. And I tell the guy what my experience, and he calls the owner and is like, "Raf's leaving." And the owner sends me this email like, "I can't fucking believe it. I just took you to Vegas and you're supposed to buy the gym from me. Like, what is going on here?" And I was like, "Well, I wasn't going to resign. I just thought the workout was really cool." And I was just sharing. And I was like, "But if that's how you feel, maybe this is God thing. I'm gone." And
Yeah.
so I tell my wife what happened, and she's like, "Okay, well, what's the deal? How does it work?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm supposed to meet them at a coffee shop tomorrow. I don't even know what the business opportunity is. I don't know anything." Tuesday, we go to the coffee shop. I tell my wife later that day the thing, and we buy a plane ticket to Texas. And
Well,
so I tell the people, "Yo, I send them a screenshot of this plane ticket." They're like, "No, that's not how it works. You have to do like a 6 month internship, all these things." And I was like, "Hey, it is what it is. I'm going to Texas." And they're like, "Well, the VP for the company is going to be here Friday. If we're going to let you talk to him and see what happens." And he comes, and he literally comes up, shakes my hand, and he goes, "If you have the confidence to think you can pass academy, I'm going to send you. Go." And I was on a plane Tuesday, get to Texas, go through CG. It's like almost like a boot camp thing.
yeah.
It's a boot camp, so like they have you wake up at 3:30 in the morning on the field. You're working out for like 3 hours. You go to a classroom for 3 hours. You work out for another three
You're
hours.
like, bitch,
Classroom for three
this
hours.
is nothing.
Doing, 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 doing. I was like, all right, I've been doing this for 15
Yeah.
years. Who
Right,
cares?
right,
Let's run
right.
it. So push guys to shove. I end up. I've never trained more than one person, so now I got like 70 people on the field, and I'm screaming at everybody. I'm bouncing off the walls. I'm loving the energy. So I make it. 3 days later, I'm on a plane, come back, and we're getting walking onto the plane, and I like fall to my knees because I get this like invitation. So it's like everything confirmation. It's like we have been invited to become a partner with Camp Gladiator, and I'm like, oh my god. My wife's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "I got the invitation." Because it's I would think there was only a few of us that actually made it out of like the class of 100 people, like 20
Yeah.
people get
Yeah.
invited. So anyway, come back to Tampa. I do that for a number of years.
No, but it's a great feeling, right? Like, sorry, don't skip the feeling because this is
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
right,
no,
like
it's awesome.
you
So it's
fucking
like,
worked all day, all these
yeah.
years you were going through, and then this thing just,
So
and then you got it, right?
the way it is you're a partner trainer, and so you own your local franchises. And so I'm like, all right, I got my own spot. Like it's my business. I can do it on my own, nobody's terms. And so you decide how you run your locations. They do all the back end for you. So it's really
Yeah.
cool because you don't have to worry about all that stuff. And like, it was amazing. For 7 years, almost 8 years. You're meeting people in dark parking lots, sketchy as hell,
Yeah.
but you build this community around like embracing the suck because like I, they show up at like 4:30, 4:50, whatever. But like 5 o'clock goes off, like I'm blowing a whistle. I'm standing on the back of my truck screaming. Music is jamming, and we are going like
Fucking
nonstop for
go.
60
Let's
minutes. It's
go.
go, 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 go. Um, and so you just like something about doing hard shit with people that it just builds this bond, right?
Mhm.
And so you build the community, and the ones that are still with me now at the gym, like those are my people. Like they are willing to go through life and death sometimes
Yeah, they're the
with
homies.
us at the gym. Yeah, I send them on some outrageous shit, and like sometimes I look at the faces after the workout, and I'm just like, "Oh, my bad, guys," and they're like, "Oh, it's cool. That's what we
Sorry,
came for,"
I
you
got
know.
caught up in the moment.
Or I would like because I get up at like 3 in the morning. And I have to be at the gym at 4:30, but that's when I'm like the most creative. So that's
Yeah.
when I write my workouts, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Okay, a little overly ambitious today," and I'm like, "All right, audible. We're gonna change the rep count, a
Yeah.
little bit. You
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
look like you're dying right now. And so, but yeah, I mean, it was insane, intense, but it was still that thing that like they still had control. So I still was like had that dream of like I want to open my own space, and so that
Mm.
was always like,
Yeah.
and when they unlocked our contracts after COVID, like the pandemic's craziness,
Mhm.
I said, hey guys, go build your fitness businesses, and we're going to build a platform where you can house that. And I was like, cool. So I was like offering. I went back to the gym at Golds, and I was like, hey, bro, I know you're probably still pissed at me for leaving. You invested all the time and money in me, but I want to bring my personal training business here temporarily. I'm going to open my own space, but some money is better than no money, right? I'll give you 30% of everything I bring in if you let me build this business because I live a little bit further away from the area where we're going to open the gym. And I was like, I can't keep asking people to come all the way out here if I expect them to join me all the way out
Yeah.
there, so I live kind of like out in the country a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
That's cool.
but yeah, so he let me do it. He was like, yeah, for sure, man. He's like, I want nothing but whatever is best for your family, and like supported me 100%. Let me do it, build a business there.
Another homie,
And
huh? Another
dude,
homie, no matter
for
what. Yeah.
sure, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Like, uh, I have nothing bad to say about the guy. Uh, he was awesome with me. Um, he was a pro wrestler, and so he. Sometimes people get intimidated because he's a big guy.
Yeah.
And so they get intimidated a little bit by him, and so they don't know how to take him. But like when somebody told me they were like, "Go watch his wrestling tapes," and I did, and I was like, "Oh, now I know what's happening here. Got it. So let's go."
That's
And so after that happened, everything was cool, and I was like, "Oh, just work hard. Dad loves it, and we're good to go."
yeah.
And so
Was he with the WWF or
so I don't know what it was. This is like 80s.
80s?
It
Okay.
was before the WWF, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the gym used to be full of all the like rock star wrestlers. Like I would be coaching people, and like Goldberg is right there doing like shoulder
Yeah, that's
presses right next to
crazy.
you. Like
Fucking God.
I remember one day we had this like a plate loaded shoulder press machine, and I'm on there. I got like 4 plates on there. I'm like 240. I'm juicing a little bit, and
Yeah.
I'm repping out. This guy stacks like 5 more plates on there. He's like, they're just warming up. I'm like, holy crap. But like those guys are there, and so it brings an ambiance and atmosphere that was really crazy.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so anyway, the thing is there, we end up getting the opportunity. And so that's, it's kind of like we alluded to in the last one. You just have to do the thing. And no matter how scary, like I'm leaving this corporate. Yes, I have my own franchise, but it's still corporate. It's
Yeah.
definitely a paycheck, no matter
Yeah.
what. It's pretty comfortable. I only have to show up in a parking lot like 3 hours a day. So the rest of the day, I'm just goofing off, talking to clients online, but that's nothing. I
Yeah.
love doing that. That's what I think. So like, that's not work. And so like, now I have a business. I'm going to have to like all the X's, everything has to happen. And
Yeah.
so a little scary, especially because we had originally rented one bay in this warehouse building. We were sitting there with my partner, and I'm just like, man, how long before we're super bummed that we did not get more space and we have to move because our business has grown? She's like,
Right.
what? You want to do more than one? I'm like, I don't know. It sounds good. Let's do it. So we went to the office and we're like, hey, what does it look like if we want more than one? And they were like, if that's what you want, right now is the time because we're still in the build out stage. We know we can take down that middle wall for you guys and you guys can expand out as much as you want. We're like, cool, let's do it, run it. And
Yeah.
so we talked to the company. We were still with the other company and we're like, hey, this is what we want to do. And they were like, oh, maybe we can get involved. And so it looked like everything was going to fall in perfectly. And then at the end, they ended up not jumping on with us. They just weren't ready to make those changes and take things, because their big thing was take it outside, CG Pride, take it outside. And so they're
Yeah.
like, we're just not ready to go indoors. And so ended up leaving the company slowly because like one thing that's really important to me is like loyalty or integrity,
Yeah. Of
in a
course.
sense, because like my clients had signed contracts with this company, uh, and so some of them for 2 years, and I was like, man, I don't not want to be able to coach you. So like, if you're willing to come to this gym, I'm willing to train you. Basically, you're paying the company.
Pay the
I'm still
membership.
seeing
Yeah.
a little bit, but I'm taking a huge loss. Like our
Yeah.
memberships are like 5 times what we're getting paid from this company. But I want to fulfill my commitment to you, just like you committed to 2 years with me. I want to fulfill my 2 years with you.
Awesome,
And
dude.
so we actually just exited completely, maybe like 3 months ago, because our last client's contract ended with the other company. So we called them. We're like, hey, we want to terminate the relationship at this point. Blah blah blah. But so super cool. The relationships again. You do hard things with people, those bonds stick, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Love
But
it.
yeah,
Dude, love that. You do hard things with people, you grow the community. You grow, I love that, man. That's really good. That's a good gold nugget. If you're listening, make sure you write that one down. Dude, Raf, that this is awesome, dude. So tell me real quick, I guess on the business, it's called Level Up.
it is. So it's Level Up. Like on Instagram, we're Level Up West Chase just because that's where it is. But it's Level Up Fitness and Nutrition. We do, like I said, all the different training variables. We also do like online nutrition coaching, and we're just now adding online like coaching, like personal training. So like
Cool.
writing programs for people. Um, and so that's kind of the direction we're going because we're already using apps to run the classes in a sense. We one of the big things for us is like results require commitment, and so like if you're not tracking the weights, you're just kind of guessing. It's not going to work. So like we give them the opportunity to track in the app,
Cool.
so that they can kind of like build out um, what they're doing every week. And there's no way we can keep track of everybody. So like we put the workouts in the app for them, and I was like, man, we could do this online. It's the same thing, you know. We're still providing the same programming. It's just someone has to go to the gym and do it,
Yeah.
as opposed to doing it with us. So
Yeah.
we're doing
It's
that.
awesome.
But the nutrition, one doesn't work without the other, so we do both. If you're just working out and not worrying about nutrition, you're not going to get the results. If you're just doing nutrition and not
Yeah,
working
that's right.
out, it's not really worth the time.
Yeah.
So, and ultimately, like again, the fitness is the thing that if you're not healthy, nothing else matters, right?
Yeah.
So if you can get somebody to flip the switch, and level up per se, then everything else changes. Because like looking at your, what's the hard? Getting up at 4:30 in the morning and coming and getting your butt beat in the gym, or looking in the mirror, or not your clothes not fitting right, or you just being uncomfortable and embarrassed all the time. Like
Yeah.
that's not the deal. Like you
Yeah.
have to. And so if I can be the agent of change per se and help people find the switch, like what is it going to be? Like I just had someone, she is has a super high level job and she's traveling all the time. And so like I was like, hey, let's reframe. Like, okay, you can't make it to the gym. Where can we find wins? Like little wins every day. Like, can you get a couple extra steps at your desk? Can you bring one meal of the day? Like, can we start with breakfast and like let's have a healthy breakfast? And if the rest of the day goes to shit, hey,
Yeah.
you made one decision in the morning for you, and that while you're traveling, like it's what you do most of the time. So like, what happens that one day is not really going to impact the big picture. Like, consistency is not a perfect line. It's
Yeah.
the average of the whole week
Yeah.
or months or years that's going to get you to where you want to be. So like it's giving people the structure. So like I always say, like structure gives freedom. Like people, I had another client example is she told me she's like, I just can't do this. Da, 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 da. I just need to eat a cookie every once in a while. And I was like, who said you couldn't? Like
Eat
I
the
didn't
fucking
tell you that. Eat the
cookie.
fucking cookie. I was like, what
Yeah.
do you need me to do? She's like, it's got to be on my meal plan or I just don't know what to do. And I was like, all right, cool. So I
Throw it on
a
the fucking
Publix
robot.
cookie is like 50 calories. It didn't change anything. I
Yeah.
put the cookie on there and didn't change her meal plan at all. And I was like, there you go, eat it. And
Yeah.
oh my God, And so like being able to give people the like reframing, kind of like
Yeah.
those guys did for me while I was
Yeah.
inside,
Exactly.
is so cool. And especially like when someone, like I said, flips that switch and can run with it, that's where that's the money. Like not
Yeah.
the
That's that
financially, but
emotion. You're
that's
like,
the,
yeah.
yeah, I get that. I get my fix.
Yeah.
And
You get
so
your
like
feelings. Yeah, for sure. For
helping
sure.
people, like my little brother is a good example. While I was locked up, he was going through some rough stuff, and whatever. And I can only imagine watching me like spiral and dealing with whatever. We got to like, he's like 5'10". He was like 280.
Damn.
Not a good look. And he came to visit me and I was like, bro, get the hell out of here. I was like, what are you doing with your life? Like, I'm going to go back inside and be like, what's going on with my brother? Like, I don't
Yeah.
need that in my life. So either you get right or get lost. I was like, make the change. And he like lost a little bit of weight and then I came back and was like, I want to do this. And I was like, all right, let's run it. I
Yeah.
wasn't going to move home because originally I was like, I'm just going to, I have no attachments. I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to do it wherever. I have a little bit of money saved up. My dad had passed away and all those things.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to go start my life, in Timbuktu. Who knows? My last cellmate, he's in Hawaii now, living on Maui on the beach and, living the dream. So I was like, me too, let's go,
Right.
and got out of the plans. I met my wife who,
Yeah.
like I said, my soulmate, my anchor.
Yeah.
Um, my anchor because I am definitely an idiot most of the time. So she is my, what do you call it? Like my grounding force, you
Yeah,
know.
she's your other half for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt. And then my brother, you know, I was like, all right, I'm gonna move home. So I moved home and we got his ass in shape. And like I said, he ended up becoming a personal trainer and working at Golds with me for a number of years before he like life pushed him in different directions. And now he's actually like trying to get back into like tip top shape so that he could maybe possibly work in this new location that will be opening hopefully in the next few months.
Nice, dude.
So
Congrats, man.
yeah,
Congrats. How's that feel? Fucking great. What a fucking
fucking
story, man.
great, bro. Fucking great.
Right?
Absolutely. It
Yeah,
just
what
shows
a
to show
story.
you that no matter what, bro, like there is always. I'm 48. Like I just had, I have
Congrats.
a 3 year old, and we haven't. When is this going to come out? We haven't announced it to the world, but the hell with it. We're about to have a second baby.
What?
So
All right.
yes, yeah.
Congrats, bro.
Thank you,
Congrats.
thank you, thank you. Most
That's
people, like
crazy, man.
our close friends and stuff, know. So there's like age is just a number. Like I've been seeing these posts and like people play. I know what they're doing because they're trying to get people to move, but they're like, hey, 78 is the end of your life. Like 36 is midlife. You know,
Yeah.
39 is midlife.
Yeah.
Change now. And I'm like, there's no there's no reason that you can't be 90 and keep doing it. My
She's
uncle's
still
88
rocking.
and still rocking. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
living the dreams. So there's no reason. So there's no. I don't care if you're 70. Turn it around. Do the thing. Like jump. Because there's no reason you can't do it. No reason.
Yeah.
It's you just have to be willing to do the work. And like I work with First Form supplements with Andy Frisell and his crew, and like that's our thing. It's like do the work. Like as
Yeah.
long as you're willing to do the work, the rest will take care of itself. But you have to step up every fucking day and do the work.
Yeah,
And that
exactly. So one thing I've been working with people. I have like a small community, like a small group. We call it
hurt.
daily minimums. So it's like I don't care what you do, kind of like what you were saying to the girl.
Yeah.
It's daily minimums, but it may be different for everybody, right? So it's like push-ups, sit-ups, and squats for me. It could be walking
Yeah.
for 5 minutes. It could be whatever it is. But there's daily
Yes.
minimums over a long period of time for the rest of your life. So like that's it. So for the people that like they want to either ease into it or they don't want to do fucking crazy amounts of work. It's like, dude, you can gradually get there and you'll get to a point where you want to do more. Right. But
Yeah.
if we think that we have to go do like 1,000 fucking squats today, you're not going to do it tomorrow. Start
Yeah.
with
No
two,
way.
start with three, just do it every day. And
Amen.
now you're doing a little bit more than what you were doing the day before. So that's another thing that that I like to help sort of reframe, like you're saying, reframe the thought that do you have to go 0 to 100? Not everyone, not
No,
everyone that has to. You can just get your daily minimums in and go from there.
I like that. I actually remember you saying that on one of the podcasts. Yeah, it's so I've kind of been dealing with injuries. I got the reason I didn't contact you, like schedule the podcast before, was in December. I got T-boned again.
God damn.
Somebody not paying attention. Like December, first week of December, I was going to pick up my daughter from school and from daycare, and I got T-boned and totaled my truck, my Jeep Cherokee, and I have now two tears in my spine, like annual tears,
Oh,
like L3 and C6, and then my knee. I had like from the first accident. Had had a flare up like 2 years ago when we first opened the gym, and I had just got it under control and was starting to train again, like moving in the right direction. And then that boom, she hit me again, and so like flared up the knee again. So it's like I've learned that there is those minimums because I've had to like reframe everything because now this is a whole nother set of injuries for me to deal with, and it's like okay, what do I really have to do? And I had to reframe it for myself because
yeah.
thankfully our clients are super cool. This is something I did a survey. We did a survey at the gym, like me and my partner, and we sent it out and we're like, tell us about what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, all the things. And
Yep.
so like a few of them were brave, and I say brave because it's not easy to tell someone about how they're acting or behaving, especially the person that's your coach. So
Yeah.
they were like, dude, Raf is great. Like he will help anyone if you go to him. But when it comes to the gym, he's checked out. Like and I had to like, what is going on? And one of my business coaches, he said, you don't know how to do fitness without doing fitness, bro. He's like, you're not working out. So you being in a gym, working people out is driving you mad. He's like,
Mhm.
you have to reframe yourself and figure it out. Like, what do you tell someone who can't do legs because their knee hurts one day? He's like, you probably tell them to do upper body. Or do you let them just check out? And I'm like, no. It's like, well, what are you doing for yourself? And so like the clients like turning it around on me anonymously, which is cool, of course.
Yeah,
But
100%.
they literally were able to get me to like, and I was like, dang, who else am I like? checked out. And so like I was doing the same thing to my wife, to my daughter, little baby girl who's like looking at me for everything. And I'm
Yeah.
like, whatever, and so I had to like reframe everything and like start like, okay, well, what can I do? I can ride a bike. Let me buy a bicycle. I can ride a bike because it doesn't hurt my knee or my
Yeah.
back. So now I ride a bike instead of run because running is too much impact right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Or okay, well, I can't do squats and deadlifts, but I can do leg extensions or I can do, whatever. And so like that has been the last few weeks of like just turning the ship and through we have a PT at the gym and he's a miracle worker. Like
Yeah.
he puts MMA guys back together. So if he can do that, like
Yeah.
we're easy,
So you're good.
so we just started working together like 3 weeks ago and squats and lunges. I did squats, lunges yesterday. I was doing landmine plyometric pulls and rotations and stuff. So it's like
Yeah.
never thought I'd be able to do that stuff again.
Yeah.
So
Dude,
it's
that's
like,
awesome. Hey,
yeah,
I just, we'll come to the end of this episode, but
okay,
so to reframe it, to reframe it,
there you go.
you're a perfect example, bro, of like being able to do something. Like if you have a thought of wanting to change something in your life, you're a fucking perfect example that you can do it. Like no matter what,
100%.
you can do it.
Yeah, definitely. That if there's a message that I want to share with the world, it's like just do it. And like even with this, I was super nervous. I've been like that was my thing is like what changed my life in there, and it was other people allowing me to reframe things and change my life. So I like want to be that. And so like my church is starting like a prison ministry. So I'm like I'm 100% in. Let's go.
All
What
right.
do you mean? You want to go back in? Yes, because if I can not to brag, but if I can say I own my own gym, I have a brand new Jeep, I have a wife, beautiful wife, 2 kids, dogs, like all the things, and I come from these seats right here with you,
Right.
you can fucking do it too. Like there's
Yeah.
no reason I am not special. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like not,
Well, yes,
uh,
you are. I would say you're definitely special. We're all
uh,
special, but you definitely are special, my man. Because not everyone gets to that, right? Not everyone, and
or,
some people aren't lucky enough to either. I feel like either be open to it or have that influence around them, to then get them to that level. So everything that
yeah.
you've done, good job and no, great job. I'm super happy that you were part of the episode. Thank you for coming on. Thanks for
Thank
sharing,
you, man. Thank you for the
bro.
opportunity, man.
Last questions for you here.
Yeah.
Do you have a morning routine or nighttime routine that, and is that filled with gratitude, I would assume, or something like that? Do you have anything like that?
Yeah. So actually, I get up at 3:15. I don't have to, I'll be at the gym at 4:30, and it's because I need my like slow wake up. I need my like morning devotion. I need to like share with my, so I try to do like a small, like just a little sentence on my Instagram. It's like the black text, the white text on
Yeah.
the black screen. Those are my morning messages to everybody. I run a Facebook group, but yeah, so I get up. I'm actually on a new devotional right now. It's I don't know if you can see that, but
How
it's
is it?
how you start your day sets your day. And
Mm,
so I'm working through this with a group of people, and so like I something to like channel a little bit, and so coffee channel, and then I walk the dogs, so I get a little bit of that peace,
yeah.
and then I just go run it, and then I'm very structured. Like I said, structure is freedom. So like having the structure allows me to like stay on point or on course because I can
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
but everyone has to find their thing. I think that right now there's so much distraction that everybody's trying to push people in all these different directions, and there's nothing wrong with hacking the like biohacks and stuff. Like I
Yeah.
think that they can do definitely be like use that help you unlock
Yeah.
per
But
se
yeah, you
the
got to
thing
find
and,
a
and
way.
flip the switch. But you have to find your way, and you have to find that rhythm, the rhythm like of life that
Yeah.
allows you to do it. And so whatever that is for you, it's trial and error. It's just going to take a little bit being patient and continuing to push. And even if it's a micro step. You just have to keep moving forward. And our pastor always says, just be open and willing to take the next right step, whatever that is, and so being willing to take the next right step every day. Like you might take that step and you might have 2 steps back, but the next day, next right step, next day, next right step, next day, next right step. And eventually you're going to get to the goal, but you got to just keep going.
Boom. Take that right step, everyone. Thanks for joining us again. And don't forget, nothing changes until you do. Peace.